This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
So this will be for whatever day this is, the 25th of February, at around 6:05. And because we don't have quorums, we'll just start having a discussion with Lucy presenting to us from the town clerk's perspective. So go ahead, Lucy.
Well, my budget hasn't changed much. It's just getting more expensive. The FY25 actual usage is not up there. 24 is. But as you can see, in 24, I used a lot of money. There was a lot of elections that year. There's a lot of elections this year. And there's going to be a lot of elections in 2028. So I want to see if I can have the election expenses raised to $9,500, just because of all the elections we have.
So just to clarify, we've got a town election, we have a primary.
Yeah, and then we have the general election in, but that's in November. Oh, they're both in next year's. Yeah, so 27, yes.
Yeah,
And
so
the local election is this.
The local election is already budgeted
Right,
for.
is already budgeted for.
For now, for this year.
Right, yes, for the September though, and the November one. That's what I'm gonna need money for. And
So those two,
any
and then
special
next year's
meetings,
town
yeah.
election. So
I mean, this year
3.
I wasn't budgeted for 2 special town meetings.
Mhm.
So, and I had to pay people for that. So whatever comes up out of the blue, we have to cover for.
And do you have a rough idea? I know postage has gone up. Do you have a rough idea what you're spending on postage? I'm just curious. Because we're mailing
the
out
last
ballots.
time I did, I think $18.50 was the amount. Postage is 74 cents
Yeah.
each envelope. That's not including the ballots. So that's regular mail.
Right.
The ballots, it's up to $1.02, $1.02 per ballot. So, that's like $3,000. We have to mail out confirmation cards in June. Those are about $1,000 to have printed, and they have to have a return form on them. We have to order special paper for vital records, certifications, certified death records, certified marriage certificates, certified birth certificates. We have to have clear sleeves to hold them in. We have to have binders to keep them in. And they're permanent records. They cannot be just recycled. They're permanent. We have to have envelopes for regular mail. Whenever we register a new person, by law, we have to send them a letter. It's state law that we have to send them a letter acknowledging that they're registering to vote, or they've done something at an agency where they've either changed their name or changed their party, and the state requires us to send them a letter acknowledging that fact. Even if they move, we still have to send them a letter. So that's a lot.
The people who vote by mail,
Yeah.
is that something you have to opt into?
So every year, people have to fill out an application to vote by mail. And yes, it is something that our office has to opt into. If we don't want to opt into it, we have to have the select board, I have to write them a letter, tell them why, and they decide.
There's a vote, there had been a vote
Yeah.
at some point, but we
Yeah,
decided to do
yes.
that.
Yeah, and you usually mailed out, like, isn't it 1,000 or so? I mean,
Oh, yeah, we've mailed out over 1,000. We've
Yeah.
mailed out,
for various elections.
So do you have to, as a voter, do you have to opt in each year?
yes, you have to fill out an application every single year.
Okay.
That's the same thing for absentee voting, which is early voting, same exact
Okay.
kind of thing. Absentee voting used to be, you would have to prove that you couldn't come in and vote because of medical reasons, or but now the state is looking at early voting, and a lot of people just want to do it because they want to come in and vote. So,
And so they check
Vote by
off,
mail, I mean.
they check off for the year essentially. So if you say there's
Yes.
3 elections this
Yeah.
year,
yeah, they check off
Okay, because we
all
were
elections.
voting by mail, and
Yeah.
then we stopped because we weren't getting the things anymore.
okay.
Probably because we didn't apply.
Yeah,
Right.
there you go.
So
Yeah.
the years that there are state elections, the state usually mails out those cards
Okay,
about 2 months before the election. So they're going to be mailing out those cards to registered voters in July. And we have been telling people, if you want to vote by mail for the local election, send us your address and we'll mail you the application. Or stop in our office. So, but we have to have it on record. And they keep track, the state keeps track of everyone who signs up to vote, everyone who votes and returns a ballot, and we have, you know, a program where they get three chances to vote, and we keep track of every single ballot. So if you say you lost your ballot or didn't turn in your ballot, we will know the day we mailed it out, the day we got it in, and if you say, well, I didn't want to vote by mail, then we have to report that to the state, that you know, we gave them another one, but here's the reason why. So,
Yeah.
so
Well, and I think, just, with your costs, I mean, certainly with the postage, it's increased now, but, so just looking at last year, this is, I think, somewhat a final figure, election registration expenses, so that about almost $7,950, so that's what you actually spent
Yeah.
for FY25.
and that doesn't include the price increases
Right.
of stuff. So the post office does give us a break for postage, but not for ballots. Because when we mail a ballot, there's 4 things in there. There's the ballot, the envelope, the return envelope, and the outside envelope. So they're $1 or $2 a piece. So that's a lot of money. And general office supplies, we have to order paper, we have to order pens.
So that E-code thing, we've gotten,
Yeah.
this is our online general and zoning bylaws. It's
Yeah.
all codified under E-code 360.
Yeah.
So that's about $1,200 a year?
Yep, that's $11.95 for the maintenance, but they keep track of everything, they get them online, they send us 3 paper copies, so that we have them in our office and online. People can look online, and I think that's working out very well. But it's gonna get more expensive, so because if we want them to do more, they're gonna have to charge us more. And they gave us an estimate. It depends on how many bylaws too. If we, if we pass 7 bylaws, that's a lot of work for them to go through everything. They have to edit everything. And then they will process it and put it online. So, and it does cost money. The dog licensing program, I just got on Permit Link, the system that building is on and highway is on. I'm not sure of the cost, but that's included in
The shared expense.
the shared expense. And it's working out great. I've already processed 389 dog licenses.
Wow. $5.
Yeah, well, that's just the people that
Yeah.
signed up.
Oh, yeah, so, okay,
We
yeah.
have over 1,100 people with dogs.
Wow.
Yeah, so. And then I know. And I do want to possibly buy pole pads for this year. Pole pads are Apple pads that a lot of municipalities are using instead of the paper checklist that when you come in to vote, you give them your name. The poll pads are much easier for people to use. They state your name, their name. You type it in. The worker types it in, and all of their information is in the system. So if they are a registered voter, we will know automatically that they're a registered voter in the system, and then all of that goes right to the state. So the state keeps track of everything. We don't have to do any counts because the poll pads will count for us and we'll get accurate counts. We do have accurate counts. We've been here sometimes till like midnight, you know, because I like to do my checks and balances. I used to do bookkeeping and I reconciled accounts and I had to get it down to the penny. So.
Would these poll pads be per election worker or?
No, so the poll pads would be, there's 3 poll pads, 1 per precinct and then an extra one. And I did get a quote, it was for $5,300. But that includes 3 poll pads, their containers, their setup equipment, and that's about it. So, but did have a demonstration and she's willing to come back and show you all if needed. But it's an amazing resource. It's just saves so much paper. And so I really would like to purchase those, but like I said, those are $5,000 and
Is that something that the select board would have to sign off on at some point?
no, the select board does not have to sign off on it.
I use them and I work in Westfield at the elections
Yeah.
and we got poll pads like 2 years ago
Yeah.
and they're incredible.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if somebody comes in, it will tell you if they requested a ballot by mail, so nobody's like looking on their lists, if they're inactive, whatever. They're really helpful.
Yeah, very helpful. Yeah, it will tell us if someone is not a registered voter because their name won't come up.
But that's
So-
not included in this budget.
What?
That's not included in this budget. $5,000.
Did you put that in?
No.
No.
No, not in
So that's on your wish list?
That is on my
5,300?
wish list, yes, yeah.
So,
I just wonder, and maybe you can answer this, but are people uncomfortable that they're not seeing their name on the list and getting scratched out?
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, maybe like a handful of people at most, but it's nice, especially if we have a lot of like Russian and Ukrainian speakers, and you can, if they bring their license, there's like the camera on the back of the iPad can scan the license, and
Right.
it pulls up their name.
Yeah.
That way, kind of too, if you have like a junior and a senior, it
Yeah.
like really differentiates between those.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at the end of the night, it saves so much time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it also prints out receipts. So it prints out a receipt with the voter's name and address and where they're from, so that way we can have it right there if we need to, so. But,
I threw it in there.
what,
I put it up there.
oh, thank you.
Do you want to
Thank
put
me yet.
poll pads in parentheses?
Yeah, do you want to put in bold?
Whatever up there.
I also would like to do, sorry.
You want to put poll pads in parentheses? So just for those that aren't here tonight.
I would like to buy some new signage because I've been told that I don't put enough of word out there for people to know that there's an election. But if you lived in Southampton long enough, you know that the local ones are always in May, you know, 3rd week in May. We don't control the state's dates. The state just went 2 years ago from possibly having it September 20th to early, so this year it's the day after, no, it's the week before Labor Day. So the state controls that, we don't. So I would like to get some more signage to put out there to make things a little bit easier for people, because some people say they don't see the sign. It is a small sign, but I try to get the word out there in the newspaper or on Facebook or on the community page. So I would like to purchase that. I haven't priced out any signage yet. So the sign we have is old. It's from the Board of Health, and the letters are it's missing numbers and letters and that kind of stuff. So I don't really want a lot, but I just want to be able to run my office, you know, as easily as possible. You know, we have a lot of paper in there, which we have to have. It's permanent records. We cannot recycle anything without, you know, first of all, looking at the retention schedule to see if it is not, if it's okay to recycle without permission from the state, because the state sometimes has to give permission And so I would like to possibly get some more storage areas.
Okay, anything else on, and you've got a position and a half in your,
So I have me, who I do work 32 hours sometimes. I work 50 sometimes. So there are nights, I mean, during the elections, I'm here 17 hours sometimes. So the assistant does actually work 19 and a half hours. She is very part-time. So, yeah.
so just say election wages last year were 6,700.
Yep.
I'm just, is that because we got one less election maybe or something?
Last year.
No,
Yep.
I mean, well, it's less, you've got
Last
6,000 in
year,
there now, rather than,
I'm asking, can you go up, Scott?
Not 67.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, wait. No, go down, sorry.
election wages, registration wages.
I don't think I put that number in there, so I would ask for 67 again. We do get a reimbursement from the state.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask. I
So-
mean, you get something
Yeah.
reimbursed, right?
Right,
So
yeah.
is that really, is it something that we up front and then you get reimbursed? Is that how that works, or how does that work?
Yeah, I have to fill out a survey,
Okay.
and it gets reported to the Department of Revenue. So, and they are the ones that make the decision of if they want to give us the money back or not. And I have to report everything from police chief, police personnel that's working, all the election workers. They don't cover for food for the election workers, which is fine. But, you know, they do get hungry. Some of them work all day from 8 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock at night sometimes. And I do cover for them morning, afternoon, and evening for meals. But
But you've got enough election workers on your roster to divvy up and make a schedule so that
yes,
somebody
each-
doesn't have to
right.
spend 12 hours.
Yeah, some people don't want to do it.
I wouldn't
some
wanna do
people
that.
The minimum they can do is 4 hours.
Okay.
So, and the maximum is 8. So, yeah.
Is, aside from like the incidentals, what's the reimbursement from the state? Is it 100% or is it, some share?
Some, it's not 100%.
I was looking at the FY26 expenses
Yeah.
and I think last year we budgeted 5,500
Mm-hmm.
and I only see 300 in so far, which is interesting.
Okay, well, I take that, you know what I'm looking at? I'm looking at FY25, the end of June of 25, right? So that's in terms of what was, I think, well, on Bradley's expenditure reports, what I'm seeing for June of 25.
I'm not.
Maybe
I was
that's-
looking at FY26, which
Yeah,
would,
okay,
well, maybe it's because of the timing of,
yeah.
because
Mm-hmm.
you're not, are you paying much in wages, like, for the election workers for like the town meetings?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's interesting, because we had the special town meetings that would fall within FY26.
Yeah.
that's not reimbursable. huh?
But no, that's not reimbursable. They're only working 3 hours at the most.
That,
So-
that almost makes me question more why we only have 300 recorded so far in FY26.
I'm not sure.
We haven't had any state elections.
Not yet. No, oh, well, yeah, no, not in the past year.
Mhm.
We haven't had any state, no. So,
But the,
But the special town meetings, you're paying some amount of wages for the.
yeah. But they're only 3 hours. We're not paying for food or anything or, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And I have to at least have 6 people at each meeting because of the counting.
Yep.
So, and 2 have to be at the door, making sure that every voter gets the chance to come in and not be turned away. So, when those 2 people are there, the rest, if there's a count going on, then they have to count, so.
okay, I take it back, so you're right. I'm looking at the, whatever, the December
26,
report,
yeah.
it's 5,500, I'm sorry. Yeah, so, I'm sorry. I don't know what I was looking at. I was looking at the June expenses, I thought, but that would be FY 25 rather than 26. So maybe you were closer, you could get back to your 6,000 that you had there. It was closer, because if we only did 5,500
yeah.
last year.
Yeah, put it back to 6.
Sorry,
Sorry.
my goof. I was looking at the end of last year's actual expenditures, is what I was trying to do, but they just confuse life.
So that's about it.
All right, very good.
If anybody has any questions, you can ask me whenever. Email me, or stop in my office.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, guys.
I will just say, last year, we got, the state reimbursement for the elections in May and June of 2025. So it's like the end of the fiscal year,
Yeah.
when we actually got the reimbursement in for the election wages.
Right.
We got a total of
Yeah.
7,400.
Yep. I have that right here, yeah.
Okay. Good. So that goes back into the general fund, or where does that go?
Yeah, where's
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Got it.
Okay.
Thanks, Lucy.
All
Appreciate
right,
it.
thank you.
All right.
Come on up, Megan. I don't know if,
Can I just say one more thing? The reason why this probably wasn't spent was because, and I had to ask Megan about it because it came in, but it was around the time when the previous treasurer was here and she didn't record it, so. Right,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, let's be transparent.
Megan, so
Megan was very
Megan.
helpful with that.
I don't know if finance has ever met Megan.
No.
We're missing two members of finance. Megan is our treasurer. This is Doug and Reggie.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So Megan has been able to save us and do 3 times the work in half the amount of time. And keep us on track. So,
We're working on it.
so this is the treasurer's budget. Right here, pretty straightforward.
Yeah, nothing too exciting. Expenses, the biggest expense is the mailing of all our bills. We did have Arthur Jones mail out our bills for us for the first time for Q3. That was kind of like a perfect storm of events. We had a snowstorm the day we sent him out, so the bills went out late anyways, and then we had a snowstorm. And all of our mail goes like to Hartford, to Springfield, to Southampton. So, but everybody's bills are out now. The Arthur Jones gets a discount on the postage rate because they do bulk mailing. So the charge to the town is essentially 22 cents per bill. But we don't have to buy paper, we don't have to buy envelopes, and we also don't have people doing it. So it saves us a ton of time. Software support is for like Harper's and Vadar. Tax title expense is primarily just to pay our attorneys that help us with all of the legal filings associated with our tax title properties, which we don't have too many of them, but they are there.
Well, one thing I just want to point out, so Megan is appointed. We have an elected treasurer. So this town meeting, we're going to be proposing to make the transition from elected to appointed, unless I can convince Megan to keep moving to Southampton over the border.
You're not too far away.
Yeah.
So if that goes through town meeting and then has to go to the ballot, and then so we got to do it that way. And so this might change a little bit. Then I expect Megan would be a contractual employee, like myself and Bradley, Randall, and Ian. So.
Yeah, so that's what we have budgeted in here is 30 hours a week if we had a contractual appointed treasurer collector, and then my assistant treasurer collector and my admin assistant. So as you can see, the assistant works 35 hours a week. She comes in for a half day on Friday. And then my admin assistant works kind of like typical town hall hours, 8:30 to 4.
Just back up on the expenses for, you had Harper's up there. You said Vadar's in that?
Yeah, I think there must previously, I think maybe Vadar, Bradley, you can correct me if I'm wrong, was like split between departments.
Oh, we
Am
consolidated.
I correct? And this
Yep.
is the consolidated?
No, we have it on our
Oh, it's
side.
on a different side.
Oh, so
Okay.
Vadar, this is just Harper's, it's just payroll. Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, W-2s, the ACA
yeah.
reporting.
Yeah,
things
so
like that.
they
Yeah.
print, Harper's prints our W-2 forms for us, our ACA forms for
Got it.
us.
okay,
Yeah.
good. So this idea with Arthur Jones, this is something new you started to do the mailing out. This is the first time we've tried this.
Yeah, so they've done our motor vehicle bills for us,
Okay.
and so we decided to move the real estate and personal property tax over there as well.
Okay.
It's pretty efficient. I mean, they're a professional company. They do it for a ton of municipalities. And like I said, they get a discount on the mailing. And I think, I mean, it must have taken them at least 3 full days, I would say, to, you know, printing them out, stuffing them,
Yeah.
you know.
So instead of us stuffing them, that's what
Just get a little more
Usually-
efficient.
That sounds like.
Usually does, I mean, that takes up a lot of time for
Yeah.
Angie and Ann downstairs. And the only way that can go any faster is if, where's Arthur Jones, where are they located?
They're in Easthampton.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
if they were so inclined. The only way that anything goes direct in Southampton is if you deliver it to the
To
counter.
the south, yeah.
Otherwise, everything goes to Hartford. But
Yeah.
we used to take trays of mail to the counter here in Southampton. It gets in the mail the next
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
So that is something, but I doubt they would do that. But
Yeah.
That'd be
They
nice.
are, they're close enough. Maybe we could ask.
It does have to go through the bulk mailing if you're gonna get the discount.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
doesn't, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah, like I
Which,
said, I think we
mean,
mailed it
we
out.
would take the discount and just deliver it for them.
Yeah. It'd save a lot of money that way.
yeah, really. No, but I think that's a good initiative to trying to improve some efficiency and also just
Yeah, I mean, it frees up their time to
It
do,
should,
you know,
absolutely
the other more kind of valuable work than.
right.
The online property tax payments,
Yes.
is it like Unipay?
Unipay, yeah.
Are they just making, are they charging the town, or is that all from
No,
your service fee?
It's all passed through to the person who's making the payment. So I don't know if you've done it online. They there's I think it's a flat fee for debit card, and the credit card fee is structured based on the amount of the payment. I know a lot of people kind of balk at that because if you're paying real estate with a credit card, it can get pretty expensive. But it is there as an option. But there's no cost to the town for any of that.
And we couldn't do like a regular credit card because then we'd be paying credit card fees and we'd be
If-
taking less than what we should have
Yes,
collected, right?
yeah, we can't eat the
Yeah.
fees unless we set up a separate
You need a whole
expense.
merchant account and
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna do it, and then I
Yes.
sent a check.
Yeah, exactly. If it's like your $5 excise tax bill on your old car, then maybe.
Okay.
All right, so this is our long-term debt that's under the general fund. There's nothing new on it, so it's just kind of the amortization. There's one MWPAT bond that was paid off in fiscal year 2026, so that's why we went from 17.5 to 10. And as you can see, the Larrabee and dump truck are consistent. That's the principal payments for those.
And we label them
Debt
debt
fund.
exclusions so that you know what we're paying from debt, so taxes above and beyond the 2.5%. And then we only have a few that are not debt exclusions, but we do it that way.
Is Larrabee going off pretty soon, off the rolls?
Let me see, I have it
Must be,
printed
they've been
out
around
here.
for quite a while now.
Let's see.
Feels like they should be getting close to the end.
Yeah. Did I highlight it here? Larrabee is, I don't know, it's at least, I only have it printed out to fiscal year 2030 and it's still on there for there, but I have the, let's see. 2030 is the last. Yep, 2030.
Are there still a number of borrowings that we're just rolling over as short-term borrowings?
Yes, that will be on like the next, yeah, there's a separate spreadsheet for that. So these are principal payments, as you were saying, these are notes that we have out short term. We've had them out, once you have notes out short term for longer than 2 years, you need to make principal pay downs on it. So we've been making pay downs on it, so this is just kind of, they estimate the amount that your principal payment would be had you gone long term.
Who's they? Is it?
We have a financial advisor, Unibank Financial Advisory Services, and they work with the Commonwealth to make sure that all the borrowing is in line with Mass General Law and all our statutory.
Who's the actual lender, though?
So Unibank puts it out to bid. So our current note is out, it's with Oppenheimer, purchased our debt. It's coming due actually next month, so we're going out to bid for the short-term note to
So
renew that.
they do the kind of shopping around. You're not calling five.
I'm not calling, no,
lenders
Unibank
and-
does that for us, so they
Okay.
kind of broadcast out kind of a bid package to, they do it to bigger banks, kind of like Oppenheimer, they do it to local banks, like they'll do it to Easthampton, Westfield Bank,
We've done
People's Bank.
Greenfield and a few others.
Greenfield, yeah, yep.
So one entity would take on all three of these, for example, or is that?
Yeah, we package it up as
Okay.
one note, yeah, with because this is a short-term note, so there's just one due date, so, The local banks kind of can do it more because we usually do it for less than a year, so they can kind of take that on.
Are we incurring, sorry, go ahead. I was gonna ask, are we incurring like debt issuance costs each time we roll that over?
Yes, but when when Unibank puts it out to bid, we ask for like a premium to cover the issuance costs. So we have to pay Unibank, which is a fairly small fee, but we don't have to pay for any of the other like DTC costs or any of the other issuance costs associated with that.
So are we paying more than we would if we had a credit rating? Because we don't have a credit rating?
It's negligible, I would say, just based on the interest rate market currently. The interest rates aren't bad for short term versus long term. The rates are starting to come down a bit, but the long term rates had been kind of at 4.5. And I think our interest rate on this note is 3.25, if I remember off the top of my head. So
if it hasn't made a big difference on the short term notes?
No.
If the town came to you and said, we're doing a major project and we need $15 million, what would you do?
So we can like privately place the debt without getting a credit rating. Usually you pay a little bit more, and I did speak with our financial advisor. I personally never privately placed a bond that size, but I think she said it was maybe like a 15 basis point difference, 15 to 25, which is 0.15%, 0.25%. So it's not as high as I would expect it to have.
That's not what I would have expected either.
Yeah, I was thinking like one entire basis point or something. So it's not.
And then it would be long term, though. You could borrow long term.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is an option for us. Our financial advisor, and this would be my recommendation too, is to wait until we have our audits caught up and our credit rating, just because we can take advantage of the market.
And it'll be with our FY24 audit that then we can get our credit rating back.
Hopefully. Because then we'll be on, once we get 24 done, we'll be online with 25, which was last year.
Yeah.
Scott, the version of the budget that I'm looking at also had the highway heating system.
That's in the short-term interest.
Okay.
There's no principal that's associated with that.
You had it at one point, Scott, on the principal tab. I don't know if that's changed since.
Yep. So just the interest part right now?
Yeah, because that's a new borrowing. We haven't borrowed for that yet, so we don't have to make a principal pay down on that. So that's the only new one that's on there. And Zero College Highway are ones that we hadn't borrowed for previously. The other three are the same that you saw on the principal pay down tab. So these are interest cost estimates based on kind of what the interest rates are in the market and what we've, as a town, experienced for interest rates on short-term notes.
Do you know, is there any rule of thumb as to how much debt a municipality might typically have, like a percent of revenue or anything?
Yeah, there are guidelines kind of based on like how much you can't go over. There is a debt limit. I don't know off the top of my head what our debt limit is here. We're not
It doesn't seem like we're
approaching it.
Yeah.
No.
I've looked at it in the past, and I think certain borrowings are excluded as well.
Exactly, yeah.
So some of the bigger projects, like if we had to borrow to replace, like something happened at Norris, or we just needed to put a big school in, I think it's exempted from the cap.
Yeah, yep.
So what's your time frame for borrowing on these again, roughly? Just a couple?
The three that we currently have outstanding, it's in like 3 weeks probably that we'll have the new amount. So I will have like actual interest numbers for those amounts shortly, and then I'm planning on borrowing for the newer amounts like 3 to 4 weeks after that one settles.
So this won't affect the budget too much because that's already been debt excluded, so that'll just go towards the tax rate.
Yeah.
And then the only one that would affect it is the highway
yeah,
heating.
and that's a fairly small borrowing, so.
So somewhere by April, those would be.
Yep, I'll have actual numbers for those by April. Yeah, hopefully they come in better than that, you know.
So, do you mind if I do employee benefits?
Me?
No, do you mind if I do?
No.
Okay. So just to talk about employee benefits, now we're going to transition to the town-wide expenses. So we're still a lot of yellow here. One thing that came in was our retirement contributory, which went from 1.15 last year to 1.2. So that goes to our Hampshire County group, Hampshire County Retirement Group, and they handle all of our retirement things. So we give them the amount and they send us the bill. Workers' comp will probably be the same. I mean, unemployment comp.
Can I ask a question about the retirement? Or aren't we on some kind of schedule to zero out the underfunded piece of it? Is that the one by 2030 or something? Is
Yes.
that the category?
Yes, that goes towards it.
So we're paying extra, so in theory, we'll get to a year, and I thought it was like 2030, we'll be paying less each year because we'll have caught up. Does that sound like an?
Are you talking about the payout plan for the Hampshire County?
I think
Well, not the OPEB. So the OPEB we don't
No.
pre-fund,
Yeah.
but the pension obligations we do.
Okay.
So it's part of getting all caught up over. I think I have no, it's
I
like
can't remember
20,
what it
40 or
was.
something like that. Yeah.
Is that the line now? That first one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So that should go down at some point. Once-
It's
once we're
also,
caught
I
up.
mean, it's also like as the salaries increase, you know,
Yeah.
is it gonna, I don't know.
And just, yeah,
I'm sorry, so
No.
going from this point, or when we did that, are we fully funding the pension obligations? And then the catch-up, so that it doesn't happen again?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
yes,
we'll be 100% funded once this thing is
Yes.
paid off. That's good.
and does that include not only the town employees, but the school, the Hampshire Regional? Yep.
Well, not Hampshire Regional, but the teachers, our Norris teachers.
Norris teachers, but not Hampshire Regional teachers, yeah,
Yep.
just Norris
They have
teachers.
their own deal.
Yeah, okay.
So we have unemployment compensation, we're self-insured, obviously that could change. Group health retiree is still gonna be a question mark until GIC enrollment. It's not as big of a number as our actives, obviously. The big one is our group health active, and as I mentioned last time, we're not gonna know until probably May 1st, May 2nd, the day of town meeting, what our actual numbers are gonna be, just to give you an idea. So I did put 1,475,000. So these are just some quick estimates. So the first one is GIC is probably going to be about 10% this year. I'm going to know tomorrow morning. They're going to have their rate setting meeting. Hopefully they postponed it. Their average is going to be at 10%, so we don't know if it could be 8% or 12%. But if everything stayed the same currently, and we took our most popular and moved that into H&E, and we took our higher, more expensive and moved that into like the Harvard Pilgrim Explorer, that would be about 1,471,000. If we were able to move more people to H&E, like I'm hoping, and what most other municipalities are, like around 90%, the total would be 1,351,000, and that's with a 10% increase. If we were to stay in the Hampshire County Group Insurance Trust,
It'd be free.
It's such a big number, we couldn't
Might not,
possibly
yeah.
print it.
So we thought there's some litigation in that free amount that we're gonna have to.
there you go. 1.84. So, and that's with the 16% increase that they're gonna probably have this year, so.
Wow.
So the budget amount here, Scott, prior, FY26 budget, the 1.1, did that also incorporate the mid-year billings? So that's, all right, so where were we with that? So we were at 1 point, I'm just trying to track my head, we were like 1.1, then it was 380,000? How much?
It was like 325. Yeah, we added an even number, so we're right around like 1.4, a little over 1.4 million. So, best case scenario, we go down a little bit. Worst case scenario, this could actually go over 1.5. Still better than
Where we could've
1.8.
been, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So I questioned this last year too, but you've got all the benefits in this one category rather than allocating them to the individual departments. Is that just because that's the way we do it, or? I mean, if
Yeah.
I'm seeing the school, I think I'd like to see the school all in and know what the school's costing.
Oh, we can get those numbers
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
That's easy. Yeah, but if we were gonna do it individually, it'd just be like so
Yeah.
much more lines and stuff
You
like
do it
that.
by
We can't do
department though, because I mean, I think is that what you're saying, that, to see?
I don't know how much information would be gleaned if we
Yeah,
broke it down by
I mean, it's
individuals.
still big numbers.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's like the school costs the town a certain amount of money, which
Right.
includes the insurance benefits for all the
Right.
employees there. And
Yeah.
that's where most of them are.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
and I think that's always been the challenge, to try and present that clearly to people so that they understand that, yeah, okay, the salaries are on the school budget, whatever, but the town is
Benefits are
Yeah.
absorbing all the benefits, whether that's retirement, unemployment,
Yeah.
whatever. That's all up on our side somehow, so.
I mean, we could get a census kind of
Oh, yeah.
the school employees that are benefits eligible and just kind of apply that percentage to each of those costs and
To
say
rough-
like, you
rough
know,
figures.
65% of this cost is,
Yeah,
you know, allocated to Norris School or.
in terms of the total employees, I mean, there are obviously a
Yeah.
number of employees are.
You don't even need to see the numbers, you kind of
No,
figure
but I
in your
mean,
head.
yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
I mean,
What
there
the, what the reality is.
a large number of employees there compared to town offices.
Right.
I've been really, and this is I don't know if it's appropriate to say at this meeting, but I'm really disappointed in the discussion at the state level about changing. I mean, Scott was a little vocal about it on the old insurance group, but they're not talking about making any changes to the plan such that the costs are going to be.
No, the state is a little bit, if you look, so this is not a huge amount of changes, but if you look at this is Hampshire County, they're actually trying to finally make changes too. But yeah, some of the things with the state, it's not going to be major changes, but they are looking to change some things, like increasing the ER copay. A lot of the stuff probably won't impact our active employees as much because it's things like durable medical equipment, things like that. So it's increase the ER copay, urgent care copay. This actually wouldn't impact a lot of Health New England people because it's not tiered, so it's just one.
Yeah.
So that be the more popular plans, and same thing with specialists. So
It's just nibbling around the edges. I mean, the cost of pharmaceuticals
Yeah.
and the fact that our property taxes are being used to pay for other people's.
So when you actually look at it, when you think, oh, you're going to increase to $20 or $50 or $100, it actually, if you look in that one column, the rate reduction actually doesn't make a huge impact on the things. Like this is from the GIC, and then if you look at what the Hampshire County Group Insurance Trust is doing, where's the so it doesn't make a huge, believe it or not, where'd it go? Yeah, so factoring it might be a little bit less than 1%. So adding a deductible would only decrease the Hampshire County Group Insurance rates by 1%, going from 0 to 250, 500.
You had said before that they were thinking of dropping the weight loss drugs. Are they going to? Is Hampshire County going to do it?
Hampshire County already did. The GIC, the governor wants to. The GIC is pushing back, but they've instituted a new program, the VITA program, where it's more regulated. So you have to do special weight loss counseling, things like that. You have to be a certain BMI. You have to have like a legitimate thing. So in order to
multiple diagnoses for it.
yeah, exactly. So it's a much more controlled prescription, and they are coming down in cost
Yes.
pretty significantly.
Yeah.
Which is another reason that you could argue that someone who wants to buy them could afford to buy them
I'm still
themselves.
stuck at how low the deductibles are in the plans.
But I mean, on the other hand, if you spend $10,000 and someone doesn't get a heart attack, that would cost $150,000.
That's a theory that
Or
never
hip
really
replacement.
pans out, and you can't track it, so you'll never know.
Well, and same thing with workers' comp. So if we do all these programs to reduce our workers' comp from $1 million to 500,000, how do you really know it's just not luck versus what you've done?
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay.
So, I was just getting ready for tomorrow's meeting with the GIC. Let me just bring it back here. So group life, again, we're out to bid on that stuff, so we don't know what it's going to be, but it's not a lot of money, and it'll probably be similar. The two things I do want to point out is the mitigation fund. So this is part of what we owe for the GIC. So it'll be about $32,500 for the next 2 years, and then whatever's remaining out of that $90,000 will be split evenly. The other thing
What
is,
is that, Scott?
so we had to give 25% of our first year savings to the unions.
Oh, okay.
So that's going towards their FSAs and administrative costs. The other thing is our run-out claims. So leaving the Hampshire Group Insurance Trust, never mind whatever potential legal options that we have. So if we don't take legal options, then we do owe our run-out claims. So that's another story, but the state has allowed us to
Amortize.
amortize that over 5 years.
Yeah.
The one thing that I want to make sure though is that we won't know what that's going to be for probably about 4, 5, 6 months what it actually is gonna be. I don't want to wait 5 years and get a bill for $300,000, but I don't want to put too much in, but I think we need to start building up at least something to start paying for it. Whatever that could be. I mean, it could be 100,000, it could be 300, we don't know, it could be 50, it could be 0, it could
So
be
we can
500.
just start by having a budget line and put some money in reserve for that.
So I put 25,000, it's just a guesstimate it's just something to get started.
So in hindsight, do you still think it's a good idea to move to the new insurance?
Well,
Yes.
18%,
Yeah.
or 16% change, yeah, from $1.8 million down to maybe $1.3 million.
So future as well, I think.
I also think too, the GIC is backed by the Commonwealth, so the Commonwealth will bail out the GIC, which is kind of what Hampshire County was looking for, and
Yeah.
the Commonwealth's not gonna do that for, individual trusts, but
The reality though is it's our tax dollars either way.
yeah.
Yeah, we're paying it through property taxes or we're gonna pay it through income
Yeah.
taxes.
All right. Anything else on employee benefits?
No, that's it for that. It's still a big question mark.
Yeah.
The other the other items that we have is our town shared expenses. So with that, we have our employment advertising, our postage. I raised about $2,000. Obviously, things are going to go up. The stamps always go up.
So is that some of Lucy's postage or no?
No, that's just town postage.
Oh, town postage, okay.
Yeah. Our legal expenses, which is going to be a big question mark. So we have the Hampshire County Insurance Trust I mentioned. We have the bridge issue, which I've been talking to the select board. We have a lot of solar issues that are coming up. We have a lot of health cases, quality of life cases that we have coming up. We have, things like right to carry lawsuit coming up. So we have a lot of stuff coming up next year. We can certainly lower that and, move things out, but going into next year, this is, again, it's a guesstimate, but I think we need some money coming up, especially with like the solar stuff and all the things coming up. Our legal budget's always been like $25,000, $26,000, and we've always been kind of squeezed out of it. But
And is this going to cover, you had mentioned it, I think at our select board meeting about eventually with the East Street renovation and eventually the Greenway that will be involved with some of those
no,
takings or whatever.
it's going to be much more than this.
It wouldn't cover that,
Yeah, that'd be a separate thing.
separate.
And other land acquisitions, we
Right.
would, yeah.
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 I don't know, 50 seems high, but okay.
Yeah,
So
the
having
land,
yellow,
land taking sounds really expensive.
it's going to be. Weights and measures, so we get that through the state. This is probably actually going to be deleted. That's our state assessments in towns, and I redid the revenue, so that's just going to be a reduction from our cherry sheet money. Pioneer Valley Planning Commission, our contribution. This is our insurance, so we've gotten a 0% increase for this year and a guaranteed 2.5%, no more than 2.5% for next year. But this also includes things that don't include that. So our Chubb insurance, which is like our 111F for police and fire, and also our storage tank for for our highway department. So that could go up. That's a separate outside of that. So that's I built in a little bit more money in case we got a big increase for that. And then PEG programming, we'll probably delete this one as well, since that's a direct cost from the money that we get in back to Easthampton Media. So we'll probably just delete that.
Well, or to show it as an in and then an out or something, so that,
Yeah, positive and a negative.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wouldn't get rid of it altogether, I would just show that it doesn't stay with us.
So the town IT budget. So IT capital and equipment. There's some things that we want to work on. Obviously laptops are basic things of switching things out. One of the projects, unfortunately, the grant's not going to be available for another year, is connecting the fire station to our network, which will cost a couple $1,000s, but it would also balance out because then we could use the one internet and they wouldn't have to do a separate charter account. Currently, the police department and fire department are all joining Microsoft 365 through a grant that we received. Novus is doing that as well, so there's it's about a $50,000 changeover, but that's gonna move forward. Our communications, we did switch over to VoIP on the police and fire about a month ago, so that's still in yellow. We have to cost that out. Our webpage hosting, I did increase it just because we do contract with someone to clean it up every once in a while, so it's a little bit more than our hosting, but we have a professional person that comes in who actually built the website, comes in and cleans things up. So it's a couple $100 a month that we would try to do. Our managed services, that went up by about $10,000. That's with our Novus. So Novus does all of our security, our firewall, they do our tech support. They're basically an IT department that we contract out for. So they're doing the project over there. They do our infrastructure, our Wi-Fi, things like that. The software licensing, so that's primarily made up of 3 big sources. The first one is our Microsoft 365 licenses. We're expanding that a little bit because of the police and the fire are going to be on it as well this year, so they have their own domain names. That's going to be expanded into Microsoft, so we have to absorb the cost for those. That's going to be anywhere from $20,000 to $25,000 for those licenses. Our Vadar license is a little over $17,000. I am exploring potentially some additional modules that they have. I'm trying to get some quotes. So right now our Vadar system is very basic. It doesn't have a purchase order system. It doesn't have a budgeting system, which is why we do it in Excel.
Yeah.
So there's a few options. So if they're cost effective, I want to, it's a few $1,000s a year just to save it on budgeting, where we can actually pull out the actual numbers from Vadar into the spreadsheet, and you can actually, not spreadsheet, but the printout, and actually see it. It would save a significant amount of time. And then our Nearmap licenses for like the assessors and building and health department, they use that. One thing is our new e-permitting that we instituted. So this is it rose, so before it was just the cost for the building department, so with the additional 4 or 5 departments coming on, it's going to increase. However, we can reduce that by $4,000. The amount of money that we pay, that the traffic that we get on our building software could eliminate the $4,000 for the building software part of it. So we would tack on a small fee for that, and then that would go into the building department, and that would just pay directly for that, which is our biggest part of it. But that would have to be approved by the select board and then put onto the fees.
I mean, one would hope that those would eventually cover their costs, right? I mean, whether that's the fees that are charged for permits.
The building department could be self-sufficient, but there's not enough traffic for like the dog licenses or health department to make that self-sufficient.
Well, Lucy sounded like there's a lot of dogs.
Yeah.
I think the license is only like $10 or something like that.
$11.
So, I mean, we don't want to make $100.
True.
The fire department is using it now
Yeah.
also,
Are they?
so they,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then highway
No.
has yet to start using it right there.
Right.
They're
Now
not on
health
yet.
is finishing up, and then highway would be the last.
Good.
And then finally we have.
Before we get off that, Scott, so the managed IT services, like that's increasing at 20 to almost 30% a year. I don't know what's in that kind of that bid, but it's a pretty big run rate year over year. So what is the main driver additional systems we're adding? Like what's their justification for each year, jacking up the contract 20%?
This is.
And Novus comes in, what, every 2 weeks, Got Yeah.
So this is their budget plan. A lot of it is the $900, about $1,800 for implementation of the new the Huntress and the Harmony Advanced email system.
Which
So,
is what?
Better security for email. I'm still not 100, but they're recommending that as well as our firewall, so replacement. That's the water department will pay for their own of that, so.
So they're coming up with above their managed services kind of out of scope that they are proposing each year. It's good to be in IT.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you said, so none of that is able to be covered through a grant process, really?
So I mean, if we could, but we used the last grant that we got was for the transition from MS to 365. We can get grants, but they're only like every couple of years
That's
for infrastructure and
the
stuff.
IT Community Compact one? But we've got a cybersecurity one now, right? It's going to be implemented, right? Yeah, okay.
Working on that one.
Do you think the Nova Scotia, I mean, the 52.5, I mean, is that, are you comfortable with that? I mean, is that, are we using all that? I mean, is it really?
Yeah, I think, I mean, we can not do the additional security. I mean, we can not do that. We'd have to talk a little bit more Novus to see how much we get, but I mean, I think we do need a new firewall in Town Hall, so that's pretty much something that we have to do. Our firewall currently is no longer in service or in support, or being updated or anything like that.
And is everything in terms of a server? Do we have a physical server now, or is everything in the cloud?
We do have a physical server, which you don't really need because everything's in the cloud. So, for our maintenance budget, so for Town Hall, we have our utilities. We just do a cost. We have to finish out the cost analysis, but everything's pretty much going up. We have our waste management, so I'm waiting for Randall to give me the estimate, but it's probably going to go up a little bit from the 26,000. So what we did was we combined all the departments from paying their own waste management. So the library would pay it, the police would pay it, the fire would pay it, the hall would pay it, the substation, water would pay it. So we just said, Randall, give us one bill for the transfer station, which is an enterprise fund, and we'll just do it that way. So it makes it a little bit easier. And then Town Hall expenses, so last year was 35,000. We have some things we have to do, like we have a quote for putting a cap on the sewer pipe in the wall for $5,000. Things are starting to fall apart. We've had our second sprinkler, which is another $2,000 each time it pops. We had our heating system, which was $4,000. The second time it broke down was probably helped that sprinkler pop because there's no longer heat in the vestibule for the Council on Aging. So, yeah, this place, I mean, we're gonna have to do some significant capital improvements on this. So it is starting to, I don't even talk about the roofing above us, but yeah. And Dave, our custodian, who's part-time at 19 hours, has done an amazing job saving us a ton of money. Things like, so when we have a power outage, no one knew about it, but if you flick the switch to reset it, I was ready to call Johnson Controls to come out and do it, and that's another $500, $600, $700, and he's, I'll look at it. He found the switch, he reset it, it's back on play. So he does all the plumbing, all that stuff, so he's, Dave's a very valuable asset, and he does more than just custodial work. He's really a facilities manager. So.
For that 19 hours for Dave, is that just Town Hall, or that's everything? He's doing library and police too, right?
Library, police, and Town Hall, yep. And it's not really enough. So.
Is he able to do more? Does he want to do more?
You gotta go past, you gotta go past the 19 hours.
19 hours.
Yeah, but what about a second part-timer sometime? I mean, maybe not this year, but if there's enough work to be done.
What I would, my goal is to start discussions with the different departments, especially with the school department, and seeing if we can do a combined facilities maintenance plan.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot more sense because now we would have a team of custodians that would go to the school during, the end of the summer, end of the school year to clean, and then beginning to get ready, but then when there's no kids, come here, do a deep clean for Town Hall, deep clean, so there's a better shared resources. Right now it's just compartmentalized. So it doesn't make sense to me. So, Johanna had to order her own boiler door, things like that. And, I'm not a facilities maintenance manager, but if we had, someone to manage, and we do have a lot of assets. We have North School, we have Town Hall, we have 2 fire departments, one's, 1.5, whatever you count that as. The library, we have the parks, pavilion, we have a lot of facilities out there. So if we had, a professional person with some experience to actually, oversee everything and dedicate resources and actually have a cleaning schedule for all the facilities, toilets on this day, and this has to be certain standard, and things like that, maintenance with air filters. That's a longer term goal. Cemetery, that's another big asset that we're struggling to maintain, by the way, so.
For our electric utilities bills, any thoughts about ways to do some reduction there? I mean, way back when, there had been talk about looking for grants for a solar thing out behind the fire station to see if that could power town hall. Would that be of any use? I mean,
Not in the short term. Yeah, that'd be a bigger project. So that's our town-wide expenses.
quite a bit. Questions? Anybody?
And we can always, we can take a little bit off of it, but these are really it's almost like 1/4 of our budget is set expenses.
Are there any other kind of like, I don't know, equipment maintenance contracts or anything like that that are coming up that could be?
I'm not sure how long the Johnson Controls one is, but I'll check that out.
Like our HVAC guys or whoever, or maybe is Dave doing some of that now with the filters and stuff? So maybe we're not using
Well,
them as much.
he's trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. There was who's the other one? BG Mechanical or whoever they were. There we are.
And then the elevator is another big problem. That's why I use it. We pay so much for it. I might get some use out of it.
Yeah.
You have no idea the cost is tens of thousands of dollars.
That'll change your healthcare funding later if you're not taking the steps.
Right.
We qualify for Ozempic.
Yeah. Okay. Guess anybody else have any thoughts, questions? Doug, anything? Something?
No, thank you.
Okay. Well, thanks, Meg. Appreciate it.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. I know we don't cross paths very often.
I know. Try to just keep my head down in my office.
There you go. Probably a smart idea.
Especially as a collector.
Yeah, exactly. It's better not living in the town you're the collector as. When I was in Westfield, everyone's like, I went to school with your dad. I'm like, that's great. It was fun.
Thanks, Meg. All right.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bradley, I think you're next. Take a look at the accountant's budget.
So one thing I do want to just mention, it's actually gone down a little bit. We do
Yeah.
want to go out to bid for our independent audit. So currently we use CBiz. Or actually, Megan, she actually was one of them leading that. So there's some other auditors out there that we want to explore. Scanlon and a few others that we're not going to transition until after we get the FY24 done. But for the FY25, we want to go out to probably bid and think about maybe transition. We don't know how much that's going to be yet.
Yeah, we've been at a reasonable rate. We were in the high 20s maybe for a long time. And then all of a sudden we did a gigantic jump. But, yeah.
Bradley I think you run a pretty lean operation there.
So I broke out last year the $1,050 estimate. So I had $150 for miscellaneous expenses, so that was office supplies or any, office supplies, but also I was planning on using shredding service, which I never got around to doing. $200 was for our copier lease agreement. Every few months they contact me and ask me how much printing, how many pages I printed on my printer, and then they give me a bill and I pay it.
You said 0, right?
No, so that's
So that's the printer and their copier in your office.
So it could be $20 to $40 each bill. So I estimate 4 per fiscal year. So it's $200. $350 was for my AAA classes at UMass, which is the Massachusetts Municipal Accounting and Auditors Association education program. I did not attend last year. I don't believe I'm attending this year. So, but I keep it budgeted just in case if I do go. There's $300 budgeted for our 1099. So every calendar year I need to send out 1099s to the IRS and to our vendors who qualify, who are non-corporate entities, as in partners and sole proprietors, lawyers, anything that over $600 we need to report to the government. So that's another charge I need to budget for, and then $50 for my membership to the MMAAA. So that's $1,050. I would be fine with that. If you want to argue any more, I can go down $50, maybe $100.
Budget price is solved.
And I would like to, big project would be to shred a bunch of paper in my
Yeah,
office. I have
yeah.
big piles of paper that I need to get rid of.
I think that we need to do some serious house cleaning in that regard. I would think that's well worth. I know Lucy said she's got to do a lot of permanent records, but there's definitely records that we've used, where the Valley Green out of Westfield usually have been our go-to entity. And we've still got a whole upstairs in the old town hall that's full of old tax stuff, old stuff. It's just,
Yeah.
I wish I could open a window up there and really throw it out to
Yeah.
be shredded. But
Can't just get an open burn permit?
yeah, you just got to carry it down 3 floors. That was my point. That too. But anyway,
I'm gonna
yeah.
slide out the window.
I know. I would like to do that. Anyway, go ahead, Brad. Sorry.
Yeah. Currently, this fiscal year, I've spent $399.40, so about 40% of my budget. I don't expect any big expenses the remaining fiscal year, so it's another source of transfer, departmental transfers to the end. But yeah, that's my main expense line. Other than my 2 wage lines, myself and my assistant will be returning in April.
Assistant has taken a long winter break. Are you finding, having that assistant though as a help? I know we went for a long time with you solo before we even got an assistant. So
Yes, he's very qualified. He didn't have any municipal experience, but he's willing to listen, and he has accounting experience, certainly he's a CPA, and any task I assign him, he can do quite well. And he helps me with warrants, reviewing, revenue postings, and he's been a big help with our procurement projects. He's helped me draft big documents and review things with me, and because he's done it in the past, I appreciate his help with that.
So the amount budgeted for audit though, so that isn't our actual cost for the current contract we have? It's not 55 for this coming year, is it?
No, so 49 this year, and then we don't know what it's
We
going to be.
don't know what it's going to be, so that's.
Yeah, we haven't gone out to bid yet.
Right.
We're going to try to get some quotes,
Right.
and then we can, get a
Knock
little
it
bit more of
back
an
down a little
estimate.
bit.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just.
But Scott was saying earlier that it sounds like we're on track to get the audits done, get it to where we need them to be to get a credit rating.
Yeah, Bradley just submitted like 30 documents over the weekend.
That was one vendor warrant
Yeah.
inquiry. Just
So-
scan a bunch of things for them.
Yeah, we're hoping to get free cash. The school just finished up last week, so the next priority is getting free cash certified.
So this we're getting the information from the schools that we need.
Yes.
Now we are.
Okay.
Yeah.
I won't say anything more about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think the notion will be once we get everything in and actually complete the 24 audit or get information in, we're gonna have the audit done, right? Before we can really get our credit rating back. Is that
Right. Yeah.
That's great.
Closer than we've been.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Unfortunate.
Well, have we been without clear?
A long time. When I started, we were on FY22.
Yeah, it's probably about 4 years, probably. Pretty close, I think. Yeah. And that was because, why? I think because we just got way behind. I think we were right. I think, yeah, at the time. We had a time period where we didn't have an accountant for quite a while. We had a temp service in before Bradley came.
In the schools as well.
And
That
then the
was a big
schools were in
problem.
their
Best, right?
their chaos mode, and we couldn't get anything done on a deadline that made any sense. So we're making some progress.
Yeah. Slow and steady, that's great. That's
Yeah,
good.
as long as we can do it. Do you you want to wait and just do your regular town administrator budget later, a different night, or
Yeah, I can, whenever it's.
for select board? I mean, I don't know. We were going to do it the other night, and then we didn't do it, right?
I think John just kind of brushed over it.
Oh. do you want to talk about that, the capital line thing, though? Or is that what that is?
The capital,
Or
or?
is that where that is in your?
No, so I did do the separate capital budget, but I haven't given the presentation yet.
Then not, let's not, no, I thought you were putting in something else, okay, never mind. So basically, just in your budget, that was just you and Judy, basically,
Mhm.
and then,
And land use planner.
yeah, and the land use plan.
Yeah.
And then, select board is just minutes and dues. So we have somebody taking our minutes, transcribing our minutes, basically.
Yeah, I'll talk, I guess the capital plan, I'll talk about that later.
Okay, all right.
Is the land use planner new, or is that something?
It was budgeted last year. We were supposed to do a transition for 3 months from the current Concom that we pay part-time to a full-time position, so that the Concom position wouldn't have existed in 3 months. But unfortunately, with the healthcare costs that happened in July, and then again in October, it was just too much money to go forward with that position. So we were going to do a transition, but it just wasn't feasible.
But it would be a combination for the planning board.
Planning board, conservation, zoning board of appeals, open space, greenway, highway department as well, economic development. So it's a position that we sorely need, just because we have so much stuff. I mean, even just the solar stuff alone, we're all kind of, you know, it's a difficult thing. So.
So yeah, so that as we get down to the final presentations and where we are, we'll be looking at that one, I'm sure. But you know, it's a challenge because I think planning board has been asking for somebody for help for a long time too. And then currently our Concom person works 2 days a week?
16 hours.
16 hours a week. So. But again, with all these, there's so many regulatory things that they have to manage, you know, from the state, that they have to publicize hearings and, you know, hold public hearings and all these crazy things that they have to do for permitting, etc. But
I mean, even
need
just
somebody who knows what
like the
they're
solar
doing.
field, just someone to do an inventory of, you know, where our planning and, you know, what's the appropriate way to go. You know, is a solar
Sure.
place good here or not, or
Right. Oh, okay.
and then, you know, also manage our chapter land, things like that.
Yeah. The one thing, if I can ask Bradley on our famous utilities for town hall, Bradley knows what I'm going to ask. I bet our famous cow power account. Have we ever really figured out? So we pay into, is it Belden Agri-Grid? Is that right? Up in Hatfield, I believe. So it's basically a biogas entity. We pay into it, but then we get credits on our EverSource and I guess on our gas bill too.
No,
just EverSource. Okay. And so it always looks like we're paying into this thing, and we're getting these credits. But I know at one point you were trying to analyze it. Do you feel like are we at least breaking even, or are we ahead of the game because we're part of this, or is it? Do you have a sense of that anymore?
It doesn't really feel that way.
Yeah.
But like when I look at the library's EverSource bill, it says they have a $12,000 credit on their bill, so they'll never be paying EverSource for a very long time.
Wow.
It's just they get charged $600 a month for this credit, and then there's the LSDP, which is the same type of program. So we have 2 vendors that are charging us each month, and it really adds up to, it strains the library's budget, it strains the police budget, it strains the town hall, the electricity budget. So it really doesn't feel like we're saving a lot of money, but I don't have any concrete numbers that tell you that.
How would we? It feels. I'd like to someday. I mean, I've been asking this for like 3 years now, at least. Someday, I'd like to have a presentation of somebody that could talk to us about this and show us why.
Yeah, get the.
I mean,
get the vendor to do it.
I'm
They've
fine
got
with the
proof to
idea,
us.
but
Yeah.
you know, are we really, you know, gaining anything? You know,
Yeah.
are the credits that we're getting on the
Is
EverSource
this
bill
like a
really?
green sort of
Yeah.
initiative?
Yeah. That's why we call it cow power. It's
Yeah.
basically.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
why I guess.
You got it. But yeah, it'd be nice. So maybe once we get through
Yeah, just tell
budget season, but I think it would be nice to have an explanation about this, just to see where we stand with this, because it's confusing. I mean, to say the least. And for you to sit down, the time it takes. I mean, I don't know. You've got to obviously look at every EverSource bill that comes in for all the different departments and figure out what all the credits are, right? And then apply them.
Well, they would be getting $0 bills, and they'd be handing it to me, and I would see a big credit on their EverSource bill. But every month I get 2 bills. I charge the town hall electrical account, and then we process the warrant, and then I have to do a journal entry to separate the charge out to each department individually, and it's a little bit of time.
Yeah. Well, and that too. So, I mean, if there's anything, you know, so we're talking about other things with, I know our IT costs are not not staying static. But you mentioned another module or something with Vadar. I would at least like to get some ideas about that, because I think not having a purchase order system and not, having a system where I know you've been frustrated about budgets and, it's like you can't quite match, income and expense easily. And there's got to be budget modules that make this a whole lot easier and maybe would save some time on Bradley's end too. So I don't know what they cost, but I'm sure we just didn't take advantage of them when we were ordering Vadar way back when, but I think it might be good to explore that going forward too. Okay, well, I think that's all we can talk about tonight, pretty much. So thanks everybody for your attendance and discussion and questions, and we will call this one quits at about 7:20. And
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.